Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. I'm Genevieve.
Hello, good morning. I'm Karina. Hallo, herzlich willkommen zu unserer heutigen Session Frag die Englisch-Expertinnen. Geht's euch allen gut? Ich hoffe ja. ähm, hallo, ich bin heute zum ersten Mal dabei. Ihr kennt mich noch nicht und deswegen würde ich mich gerne einmal vorstellen. Mein Name ist Karina. Ich bin seit 1,5 Jahren bei Babbel dabei, hauptsächlich in der Podcast-Produktion und heute auch hier in der Session. Und damit ihr auch wisst, wer ich überhaupt bin, erzähle ich mal ein bisschen über mich. Ich habe Marketing und Sprachen studiert und bin in den letzten Jahren sehr viel gereist, hauptsächlich nach Lateinamerika und habe auch sehr viel Zeit in Tanzschulen verbracht. Tanzen ist nämlich meine größte Leidenschaft neben den Sprachen. Aber bevor ich zu viel verrate, spielen wir ein kleines Spiel zusammen. Are you ready, Genevieve?
Well, yes, I am ready. Let's take a little look at what we'll be doing today. So, before we play the game, just to let you know that the words we'll be looking at are for and since. But Karina had a really good idea that we would play a game, and you'll notice these words for and since are in the game. But Karina, tell us all about the game. How do we play?
All right. So maybe you already know the game. It is called One Truth, One Lie. So we are going to say two sentences, one of which is going to be true, the other one false. And your task is to find out the right sentence.
Yes.
Einmal kurz auf Deutsch, vielleicht zusammengefasst. Eine Lüge, eine Wahrheit werden wir euch erzählen und dann werdet ihr gemeinsam mit Genevieve oder mit mir erraten, was davon wahr ist und was nicht.
Super. Soll ich anfangen?
Gerne.
Okay. So I will tell you one truth and one lie about me. Okay. Are you listening? Are you ready? Okay. First one. And Karina does not know the answer. She does not know the answer to this. I see from Britta the sound isn't so clear, so maybe to hold up the mic, hopefully that will make it better. Okay, first sentence. Is it true or false? I have been learning German since 2000, or I have been learning Irish for 37 years. I have been learning German since 2000. I have been learning Irish for 37 years. Karina, which is true and which is false? What do you think?
I would say you have been learning Irish for 37 years. I guess that's more or less your age. and um, yeah, I don't know how long you have been learning German. I would say the second answer is true.
Okay, well, yes, you are correct. I have been learning Irish for 37 years. It's a very long time. I've been learning German not so long, yeah, so probably since 95. I've probably been learning German since 1995. Um, but yeah, you guessed correct. I have been learning
Yay.
Irish for 37 years. Okay, Karina, your turn. One true sentence and one false sentence.
All right. Number one is I have been journaling since I was 15 years old. So writing the journal. And number two is I have been writing a blog since I was 18. What do you think?
Okay, maybe I'll show this word journaling. I don't know if everybody knows this word. Journaling, to journal. Let me have a think. You have been journaling since you were 15. 15 or you have been writing a blog since you were 18? I think you've been writing a blog since you were 18.
What are the other things? I
Okay.
think you already know. It was unfortunately not the right answer. I have been journaling since I was 15 years old.
And how would you say journaling in German? What do you say?
In German, it's Tagebuch schreiben.
Ah, so Sabine, yes, to write a diary, to write in your diary. Okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
10 books already.
Okay, now my last two sentences. I have been living in Berlin for 15 years, or I have been living in Berlin for 7 years. What do you think, Karina? What do the others think? I've been living in Berlin for 15 years, or I've been living in Berlin for 7 years.
I think that you've been living in Berlin for 15 years. Yeah.
I'm nearly 16. Ah.
Wow.
So am
It's
I?
already your second home.
Yeah, exactly. Am I a Berlinerin now?
I would say yes. More than me.
Thank you. Okay, excellent. Yeah, 15, nearly 16 years. Okay. Thank you,
Um,
Sabina. Sabina says, yes, I am. Woohoo!
yeah. Very good.
Okay, Karina, so your last one truth and one lie.
Okay. Number one is I have been dancing for 20 years. And number two is I have been practicing yoga for 10 years.
You have been dancing for 20 years or practicing yoga for 10 years. Now, I know that you are an excellent dancer.
Thank you.
So I would guess you have been dancing for 20 years.
Yeah, it's true. You had an advantage over the audience because you already saw me.
Yeah.
Okay, but we had some right answers already, so they listened in the introduction. Thank you. All right. So you maybe noticed that we have been using the words for and since in all the examples. And yeah, it's a it seems maybe like a difficult topic sometimes for German learners, but actually it's not. And we are going to show you that it's quite easy.
So
And
how was it for you? I mean, when you were learning English, how was it for you? Did you make mistakes with these words for and since? Can you tell us about your experience?
yeah, it's actually quite funny because I learned English in school already, and then I had good grades. I was very confident with English. And then I went on a high school year to the United States, and it was really hard to understand. I didn't expect that, but in real life, it's always different. And I had some awkward, some strange situations sometimes. So, for example, the teenagers would ask me, how long have you been living in the States? And I said, since 5 months. And they were asking, since you were 5 months old, so long, and your English is still so bad. I mean, teenagers are very honest and really mean sometimes, but I couldn't understand why, because I said seit 5 Monaten. And I thought my English was good for 5 months. But that was the thing. Did you hear what mistake I made when I said since 5 months?
So what's wrong? What's wrong with this? I think you need to tell them. Aha!
Very good, Sabine, very good. Exactly. Because I use since instead of for. And now we are going to look how they're used exactly so you can avoid the mistake that I was making.
Exactly. So, how long have you been living in the States, in the USA? I have been living here for 5 months. Excellent, Sabina.
Mhm. Very good. So, as you saw in this example that Sabine corrected, we have two words for seit. And the difference is very easy. Since is a point in time, and for you use it for a period of time. Einmal kurz auf Deutsch zusammengefasst. Wir haben für seit zwei Wörter und wir benutzen since, um einen Startpunkt anzugeben, zum Beispiel since 2005 und for, um eine Zeitspanne anzugeben. Also wie I have been dancing for 20 years. Das ist eine Zeitspanne. Und ich habe eine Eselsbrücke für euch, damit ihr das merken könnt. Since hat ja einen I-Punkt. Und das ist ein Punkt in der Zeit, also ein Zeitpunkt. So könnt ihr euch das merken. Ich hoffe, die Eselsbrücke hilft vielleicht manchen weiter, die sich das nicht merken können.
Yeah, Eselsbrücke. Do you know what we say in English for Eselsbrücke?
Actually not. What is it?
Honestly, okay, first of all, please never say donkey bridge.
Okay.
So we don't say donkey bridge. And I think I would just say a memory trick.
Ah,
Or a way to remember. I know in French you can say aide de mémoire, but I think we would just say a memory trick or how to remember something.
you're missing a creative word there.
I think so. Yeah, we say donkey bridge.
Oh, that reminds me of another misunderstanding I had in the States. Speaking of
Yeah.
donkey bridge, the earworm. Do you know what I
Earworm.
mean? It's kind of like the donkey bridge, but I was saying, I have an earworm, an ohrwurm, but don't do it. It was wrong. How would you say this in English? It's very
If
typical.
if you're talking about music,
Yes.
yeah. So if I say, "Oh, that song is really catchy,"
Ah,
it's really catchy. But I think, I mean, you correct me because you are the German speaker. If you say Ohrwurm, is it a neutral word or is it slightly negative that there's like a worm in your ear and you can't remove it?
it's not negative, but it can get annoying. It just means that a song is in your head and you cannot stop repeating the same melody.
Yeah, and it's interesting because we would say it's a really, really catchy song, and that to me would seem positive. But for the Ohrwurm meaning, I would say I can't get that song out of my head. Yeah,
Ah.
I mean, it's not as efficient as Ohrwurm, but you'd say, "Oh, I can't get that song out of my head. It's driving me crazy." Or as Sabina says, it's kind of nagging. It's nagging me,
Mhm.
kind of annoying me. But yeah,
Mhm.
but I think catchy is positive and Ohrwurm, I think Michael says it's also
It,
a
it
positive
can
word.
be. I think just at some point it gets negative
Yeah,
when you
okay.
can't get it out of your head.
You hear it too much on the radio over and over and over.
Exactly. Okay, we went on a slight tangent,
Yes,
but
that's okay.
speaking of donkey bridge and earworms, we are going to go back to our since and for topic.
Yes,
And Genevieve, shall we show some examples of
yes,
the ones we used before?
yes. Good idea. So the first one, when you said that you have been journaling since you were 15.
Here you can see we use since, and since has the I, the dot. So it's the point in time. I was 15 years old. It was a point in time.
Yeah, very good. And the next one was about how long you have been dancing for.
And this is a time period. So this is why we use for. In German, both seit, right? Seit ich 15 war, seit 20 Jahren. This is why it's sometimes difficult. But as you see, it's actually just this little difference.
Okay. But this is, so this is one way you can say that you have been journaling since you were 15. And what's another way that you could say that?
Okay, so we could express the same thing, but as a time period, right? So I can say I have been journaling for 11 years. Now they also know how old I am. There are no secrets in these sessions.
No secrets.
Okay, so we can convert since in for, but then we need to express a time period for 11 years. And the same thing we can do the other way around. So what was the other example, Genevieve?
So the other example was, I have been dancing for 20 years.
Okay, so now as a point in time, we would have to fix my age at that point. So I can say, I have been dancing since I was 6 years old.
Very good. Okay, wonderful. Let's have like a little mini quiz in the middle. So normally we have a quiz at the end, but I think we're just going to try a different structure so we can test you as we go. So would we like to start with this question also? This one is about me. So I have been working at Babbel nearly 2 years. So I have been working at Babbel since nearly 2 years, or I have been working at Babbel for nearly 2 years. What do you think is the correct answer? Oh, I see Sabina, Oya, Beata, Hugo. Woof, woof, woof. Okay, great. Lots of fours.
Perfect.
Yeah, brilliant. I have been working at Babbel for nearly 2 years. Okay, next one. Do you want to read this one out without the answer?
Okay, yes. So, Genevieve has been working at Babbel 2020.
There's a mixture here. Some for, some since. And as you can see, just like Karina showed you before, these two sentences are the same, but we're just talking about time in a different way. Okay? Yes, so Genevieve has been working at Babbel since 2020. Point in time, since. Okay.
Perfect.
Oh, Sabina, I love your sentence. I have been watching the Babbel sessions since it started. I love it.
Great.
Excellent. Okay, and my final little question for you. Genevieve has been doing the AMA sessions, or Frag die Expertinnen sessions, for a few months or Genevieve has been doing the AMA sessions since a few months. What do you think? Wow. Oh yeah, so quick. Yeah, brilliant. So
Perfect.
in this sentence, I didn't say for 3 years or for 2 months. I wasn't very specific, but that's okay. So you can still talk about a period of time, ungefähr, approximately. So for 4 months, for 5 months, or for a few months. That's totally correct. Okay, let's move on. Karina.
All right. So now we spoke about these two words, but there's another thing that we need to keep in mind, and that is the tense that we use. So maybe you have heard that people that learn German say something like, ich habe Deutsch seit 2 Jahren gelernt. Vielleicht habt ihr schon mal jemanden kennengelernt, der Deutsch lernt und genau diesen Satz verwendet hat. Und daran merkt ihr, dass das Gehirn von vielleicht jemandem, der mit der englischen Sprache aufgewachsen ist, in diesem Fall anders tickt. Die benutzen nämlich die Vergangenheit. Und daran seht ihr auch, manchmal lassen sich Zeichen, wenn wir andere Sprachen lernen, nicht 1:1 übersetzen. Und das müssen wir einfach akzeptieren. Aber deswegen lernen wir jetzt, wie man es so richtig sagen würde auf Englisch. Und dafür benutzen wir meistens eine bestimmte Zeit. Genevieve, would you
Yeah.
like to explain?
So for when we are talking about these activities that started in the past and are still happening now or are still true now, then we use the present perfect continuous. So we have looked at this in previous sessions, the present perfect continuous. And you need to, it's when we want to focus on this continuous process or this continuous activity. So the learning or the living. So I have been living in Berlin. I have been learning Irish since or for. And it's really focusing on this continuous progression of something.
Ich fasse einmal kurz auf Deutsch zusammen, damit auch alle auf der gleichen Seite sind, in the same page wie wir. Also, ihr benutzt das Present Perfect Continuous, um zu zeigen, dass etwas in der Vergangenheit angefangen hat, aber immer noch passiert. Deswegen ist es auch das Continuous. Kontinuierlich passiert es weiter. Zum Beispiel, Genevieve has been living in Berlin for 15 years. Sie tut es ja immer noch. Es hat vorher angefangen, aber es passiert noch oder existiert.
Genau.
Okay. Yeah, Genevieve, you have been living in Berlin for so long, and I have been knowing you only for 1 year. We should have met earlier.
Oh, Karina, you cannot say you have been knowing me. No, don't say you've been knowing me. No.
Why? We just said that I have to use the continuous, right?
We did say that if something started in the past and is still true now, we should use the present perfect continuous. But if some of you were paying attention in our previous sessions, we spoke about some special verbs that do not take, someone's got it. They do not take the continuous form. And one of these verbs is to know. Yeah. So to know someone, we don't put this in the continuous form. Okay. So Sabina, you're so close. You're so close. In this case, you wouldn't say I have been knowing you because that's the present perfect continuous, but you would use the present perfect. I have known you. Yeah, I have known you. And we have some other verbs where we don't use the continuous. We have want, we have love, exist. There's a few verbs that they really don't sound good in the continuous form. Let me give you an example with love. Ah. So I have loved him since we met. I have loved him since we met. Not I have been loving him since we met. That's not correct. And then this other one, which I love, music has existed for thousands of years. Not music has been existing. It sounds very wrong. So music has existed for thousands of years. So we just use the present perfect.
But like, for example, about the example with loving,
Yeah.
can you not use the continuous form at all? Because McDonald's is also like, I'm loving it or something like this, right?
Oh, Karina, you're terrible. So there's also something called artistic license. And McDonald's have used this slogan, I'm loving it. But it's not how I learned English. This I'm loving it. I think it's a mixture of the gerund form and the continuous form. And I think they kind of overlapped. Just like in that song that I sang a few weeks ago, like loving you. Loving you in that song, it's a gerund. It's not actually the continuous form. And I think in that slogan, I'm loving it, to me it sounds bad. But of course,
Okay.
there are these exceptions in songs and in marketing and just for, international audiences.
For
And
exceptions within exceptions.
of course, and Michael Schöner, I have known her for 10 years is perfect. Excellent.
Okay,
Really good.
great. So I should remember for these examples like exist, know, love, I still use the past tense, just not the continuous.
Exactly. The present perfect, totally fine, but just not the present perfect continuous.
Okay. Also für uns Deutsch-Muttersprachler oder die auf Deutsch denken zumindest, Achtung, nicht die Gegenwart benutzen im Englischen. Also nicht wie im Deutschen, wir kennen uns seit 10 Jahren. Das funktioniert nicht. Wir müssen immer die Vergangenheit benutzen. Nur in diesen Fällen wie know, exist, love, auch be, oder?
Ja.
Würde man nicht die Continuous Form benutzen, sondern I have known. Music has existed.
Exactly. Yeah. Perfect.
Mhm.
Perfect.
Okay. Very good to know. Thank you very much, Genevieve.
You're so welcome.
Well, I have known you for 1.5 years. Now we got it right.
Yeah, and Oya says feelings verbs, sense verbs, thinking verbs, all of these. And often you can have maybe two separate meanings for one verb. Like an example of that is to smell. You can say the coffee smells delicious. You can't say the coffee is smelling delicious. No. So the coffee smells delicious, but I am smelling the coffee right now. I'm smelling the coffee, or I have been smelling the coffee since
For 5 minutes.
for
I am
5
so tired. I have been smelling the coffee for 5 minutes.
Just the smell is keeping me awake. No. But sometimes we have verbs that have two forms or two meanings. So something smells nice, but I am smelling something.
Okay,
Great.
that makes sense.
Okay. Oh, goodbye, Beate. We've still got a few minutes
Bye.
to go. Bye.
Goodbye to everyone. Don't leave yet.
Okay, Karina, I think what we can do now is we can move on to the very special quiz. So, Karina had a great idea that we could practice this for and since, but using some very interesting facts about the natural world. So, maybe would you like to explain how to play this game in German, perhaps?
Yes. Ihr seht gleich einige Fakten über die Welt und ihr müsst wieder raten, welcher dieser Fakten richtig und welcher falsch ist. Die richtige Lösung erkennt ihr daran, ob since oder for richtig im Satz verwendet wird. Das heißt, entweder ihr habt Ahnung von dem Text oder ihr achtet auf die grammatikalische Zeit.
Ah, that's brilliant. So if I'm good at grammar, then I will get the correct answer. But even if I'm not really good at grammar, then if I know the fact, then I can get the answer. So I have two chances.
Exactly. Yes. Your chances this morning are very high to win.
Okay, brilliant. So the first part is, so there'll be two sentences, and just like in the game we played above, one of them is correct and one of them is incorrect. So question number 1, Karina, would you like to read it?
Yes. So the first question is, or fact is,
Fact.
dogs have been domesticated for 11,000 years.
And can you explain what does domesticated mean?
Yes, of course. Domesticated, also domestizieren oder zähmen. Also wie lange sind Hunde Haustiere, wenn man das so nennen kann? Gezähmt, ja.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, good to know. So that's the first fact. Dogs have been domesticated for 11,000 years. Is that true, or hold on?
Dogs have been domesticated since 4,000 years.
So have they been domesticated for 11,000 years or since 4,000 years? For 11,000 or since 4,000? Interesting. Okay, I think a lot of people think that dogs have been domesticated for 11,000 years. Are they correct, Karina?
Yes, it's correct. The domestication of dogs can actually be traced back 11,000 years until the end of the last ice age.
Wow.
So they truly have been the man's, woman's best friend for a really long time.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, very good.
Right, let's have a look at the next one. So this is a title of a song.
So we have two options. It's a song by Louis Armstrong called How Long Has This Gone On?
So who sings this? Louis Armstrong sings this?
Yeah.
How long has this gone on? Or
we're synchronized already. It's only our first session. Okay, or how long has this been going on?
Okay, so is it how long has this gone on or how long has this been going on? Bastel thinks it's the second option. Oh, now this is a perfect example. I have this catchy song in my head now.
Oh, ein Ohrwurm.
Das ist eine echte Ohrwurm. Okay, I think everyone seems to be guessing the second option. How long has this been going on? Are you going to sing for us, Karina?
I think people are going to leave before they should leave if I start singing. Not today.
Sabina is asking me. No, 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 no. I haven't warmed up my vocal cords yet. But yes, you're all correct. How
Perfect.
long has this been going on? I don't think I realized that that was a Louis Armstrong song. Huh.
Maybe there are
Interesting.
different ones.
Maybe. Maybe. I'm going to research that after our session.
Okay,
Okay,
great.
now this one looks very interesting, and I hope you all used one this morning. Everyone will be like, "What is Genevieve talking about?"
Okay, we have two sentences again about toothbrushes. Toothbrushes. So, toothbrushes have existed since 1498.
Hmm. Or
Or toothbrushes have been existing since 1849.
So toothbrushes have existed since 1498, or toothbrushes have been existing since 1849. I mean, if it was 1849, what did they do before to brush their teeth?
Yeah, I actually looked it up, but I will tell you after we
Okay, okay.
solve the right answer.
Okay, so toothbrushes have existed since 1498, or toothbrushes have been existing since 1849. So I think there was a mix of answers, but I think most people said toothbrushes have existed since 1498. That is that is correct, I think, Karina. And how do we know that it's correct? That's the most important thing. So I didn't know that date, but I know it's correct because of the grammar.
Hmm. So remember when I made the mistake and said, "Oh, Genevieve, we have been knowing, no, I've been knowing you," and that was wrong. And Genevieve explained some exceptions. So
Exactly.
exist, love. No, this was one of the verbs that was part of the exception.
Yes. So Sabina, you are correct. You say that they still exist. You are correct, but because of this verb exist, that is the exception because of the verb. Yeah. So toothbrushes have existed since 1498. And do you know, Karina, were they made of plastic?
No, they weren't made of plastic yet. They were made out of bamboo or a bone, and then they used the hair of a hog, so ein Wildschwein, oder?
Ah, like a boar, a wild boar.
Yeah, or animals like the neck hair, and used to put it on the bamboo stick and then brush their teeth.
Haha. And I saw someone made a comment about them coming from China. Ah, Meihofe.
Exactly. Yeah, I also researched this. It was made in China. But before, I was also wondering what people do before. There were certain plants or chewing sticks that they could chew on or like brush their teeth. It was just not the traditional toothbrush that we know today.
Okay, okay. Wow. I've learned so much today.
So much. I hope you all learned so much today, not only about toothbrushes, but also about since and for and different tenses.
And we thought, I mean, we've got a couple of minutes left. There's no pressure, but if anybody had a sentence that they wanted to post in the comment using for or since and the present perfect continuous or the present perfect, if you want, you can post it now in the comments, and me and Karina, we could guess if it's true or false. If anybody would like to, you could. I mean, I could think of another one. Um, I have been practicing hula hoop for 1 year. What do you think? I get practicing hula hoop sounds strange, but I have been learning how to hula hoop for 1 year. What do you think, Karina? Is it true or false?
I think it's so random that it must be true.
It's almost true. I have been learning for 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not showing you.
Oh, why not? And singing the song, doing whatever. Then these sessions will turn more entertaining, definitely.
Okay,
Wow.
Sabina says, I enjoyed this session since it started. Now, that's interesting because here you can use the present perfect or the present perfect continuous. So I have enjoyed this session since it started, or I have been enjoying. Sabina, the second one. Ever since I started learning, or ever since I have learned English, I have enjoyed every second. Oh, Sabina, that makes us so happy.
So let's hope this is true, Genevieve. Wait, we have to guess if it's true or false.
Oh yes, I hope it's true. I really hope.
Let's hope it's true. Sabina, tell us it's true.
You tell us. Okay. Well, I think that's it for today. So next week it will be Karina and Todd. And I will have a little break, but I will see you again in 2 weeks' time. And thank you so much, Karina. I've had so much fun with you this morning. And I
Thank you.
hope you did too.
I did. It was great. I have also been enjoying this session a lot. And thank you, everybody, for participating. It was so much fun with you.
Okay, great. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye. See you next week.
Bye.